Daryl.
Oh, hey guys, what's up? Thanks for joining us. It's Sunday Money.
Special edition, All-Star edition.
Yep. My name's Wesley Mott. I'm here with Lauren Fox, Corey LaJoy.
Give our listeners the backstory on Wesley, because you got me on Sirius XM with Wesley from Tennessee.
No, that is my middle name.
Oh, that's right. Well, tell the listeners what you did to me on Sirius a couple weeks ago.
Well, whenever I need to get a hold of Corey on his other show, I just call in with a different name and accent so I can check in and stroke his ego a little bit, because if there's anything race car drivers love, they love a compliment. So if you ever want to get through to Sirius XM, by the way, I don't think that even matters. Everybody gets through on Sirius XM. Kevin from Virginia is literally a caller on every single show. So I don't know that anybody's calling into those shows, but I called in and said I was somebody else, and they put me right through to Corey. Joey's got through to Corey. Everyone just loves to prank you because you love a compliment, don't you?
No, Joey didn't compliment me. I just – so what happens is on those shows, and people are going to listen, might be upset, like the majority of the people that call in don't have any particular point they're trying to make. So I kind of tune them out. Like I'm looking through Twitter, Instagram, like while they're talking, and then I'll like pick out 2 or 3 keywords out of what they ask, and then I'll formulate my answer from that. So when somebody calls in like you or Joey pranking me, I don't really pick up on it until like after the fact, because I wasn't really paying attention in the first place. That's really what happened.
That's pretty funny. But you know, you have noticed like Kevin from Virginia literally gets through every single show.
Yeah, we usually get like 6 callers a show, which was fun. But Larry Mack's back now since Fox isn't doing the broadcast anymore for the Cup races. So that was fun while it lasted. But now you get 100% of my distraction-free thoughts, Daryl. Aren't you happy about that?
Hey, man, I'm here for it. And I'm glad Alexa and Lauren are with us. And we're going to make the best out of this. It's an all-star edition because Corey was feeling like talking to you guys. He said, let's just do another one. Why not? And I assume he's got something important to tell us.
Well,
you're interrupting my coffee hour.
I mean, this was an impromptu show. And thankfully for Alexa and her flexibility to get us on Zoom and produce this show, everybody gave us enough stuff to talk about last night to actually do like a short little bit. I really just wanted to talk about like the number placement and the neon lights. But then we had some drama in the All-Star Open between Michael McDowell and Bubba Wallace. And then Austin Chase from the same place comes home with $1 million.
Good. Listen, there was also some Austin Dillon something or another, Corey, that I didn't really follow. Did something happen with Austin Dillon where he was liking some tweets and people were upset about it? Did you hear any of this?
I haven't been on Twitter.
Yeah, you're staying off Twitter, but I heard you got back on.
So, yes, I got back on because I wanted to kind of see the temperature on what people thought about the car I'm driving. And it's about the same as it was. People are – that actually, from the first time we ran it, it was about 60-40 positive. This time seemed to be about 30-70 with a lot of people being negative. So I just actually I was locked out like a lot of other people were, which was weird. Like I couldn't text. Like there was no text popping up to tweet. Did you have a problem with that?
Yeah, I did.
What was that about?
So verified blue check mark people, there was some hack that happened and they were not able to send tweets out for a few hours.
So if they can hack our Twitter, what else can they hack?
TikTok. Show them, Lauren.
Lauren, could you tweet? Were you able to still tweet?
Yeah. I don't have the same problems that you guys have. It's way overrated to be verified, in my opinion.
I think it is. So when I re-downloaded the app on my phone, I could only scroll through my timeline and see all the stuff that everybody was posting about me. But I couldn't respond, which is probably a good thing. So on the way back, Leanne was riding with me, but her Twitter, she can get on my page, and I was able to formulate a tweet on hers and then send it out there to everybody to let them know I won't be on Twitter even longer because people are idiots.
I just typed in your name and hit latest just to see.
And what came up?
You need a hug, buddy?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Can I take you to lunch?
No.
No, look, it's just people have a lot of free time right now. People are also very heated right now for a lot of good reasons. And sorry, you're taking the brunt of some of it, but mostly everyone's just reacting to your tweet. Corey tweeted, Lauren, he said, logged on to Twitter for the first time in 3 weeks. Yep, still sucks. Maybe I'll check back in after Phoenix. That's a good tweet.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. Like, I used to enjoy Twitter. Now I do not. So that was a good platform to intake some information and also put whatever's going on latest in my world out there, but not going to utilize that platform anymore. So you can check back in with Facebook. Leanne will run that, and I run Instagram occasionally. So that's where you're going to go to get your information.
Well, Lauren and I and Alexa made some T-shirts. They haven't arrived yet, but they're hashtag I stand with Corey. And I just really think that you're going to like these because we're showing support for you, buddy, for your lumps you're taking.
Please don't. I'm fine. I'll be all right. I'll get through this. But
did Leanne tell you I got in a fight with her on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on Leanne's side.
Something about her kids playing sports or something.
Well, it was back to the whole thing we were talking about yesterday. So we'll go all through Bristol. We have time. So 30,000 fans were there. What you didn't see on Twitter since you were off, Corey, is that after the race, Chase Elliott runs over and starts shaking people's hands in the middle of a world pandemic.
Did he?
Yeah. And the cameras are showing all the fans that are not wearing masks. The whole idea was you had to wear a mask if you were in the stands.
No, you had to wear a mask until you got to your seat. If you
take it off?
If you left your seat, then you had to wear it. Right? You walk back to your seat, you could take it off. That's
right.
That's
the idea being that you're with people that you're probably already quarantining with.
Yes.
But
coughing on.
They weren't very spaced out. Like there was like rows that were like it seemingly looked like they were right on top of each other. Who were we
to police?
That's right. I'm not into mask police.
I'll tell you what. It was way cool to see fans back at the racetrack, though. Even for the All-Star race, or the All-Star Open that I was in, everybody wasn't there yet. But the place had energy back in it. It felt like a normal race. It actually reminded us like why we still do it, because it gets really stale just showing up to the racetrack, and like there's just not a whole lot of excitement about it. You just get in, drive the car, then you leave, and you don't remember, the people wearing the T-shirts and the kids that are there wearing their favorite drivers' T-shirts and hats, and like stuff like that is ultimately what makes it exciting for the long term. For the short term, we're just racing to get the TV money still rolling in for the race teams. But for the long term, we got to have fans back, and I think that just showed everybody and really certified that like the fans are what makes the deal keep going. Honestly and truly, because this racing without fan stuff is not fun. So we could cover the All-Star Open because I was part of that. Started dead last, had a decent car. We were a little bit too free. Drove to about, I don't know, 8th or so after the first segment. So we had a decent car, played some pit strategy stuff. And ended up finishing 9th. That's just about where we were. We were 3rd at one point in time. I got loose, about wrecked Ty Dillon. And that was my day. The only negative out of all of them about the All-Star race being moved from Charlotte to Bristol is when you don't make the A main, instead of a 20-minute drive back to the house, it's a 3-hour and 20-minute drive back to the house. So I did about 7 hours round trip of driving for about 25 minutes of racing, then turn around and come back. But I would rather be at Bristol than at Charlotte personally. Daryl, did you watch this race from start to finish?
I did, and I texted with Lauren through the race. We were texting each other, enjoying it. So, because we're big NASCAR fans. Isn't that right, Lauren?
Yeah, I know everything about it.
Yeah, we're experts. If you didn't know that out there, we're experts in NASCAR. Tell them, Corey.
So I would love to know your expert opinion on the Michael McDowell, Bubba Wallace incident.
So I was surprised. So, to me, you expect some of that with Bristol, right? It gets a little more narrow. People are sliding around a little bit.
Yep.
And for anybody that hasn't actually stood on the track at Bristol, you can barely stand on the racetrack at Bristol. It's almost impossible to stand outside of a race car. True? I don't think people realize quite what the angle is.
Yeah, it's 33.
So it's almost impossible to stand, and I think the cars slide around a lot. So I wasn't surprised to see him kind of move Bubba out of the way. I was surprised how pissed Bubba was. That's when I knew, like, oh, well, maybe this was a little more than a error on Michael McDowell's side, because Bubba was furious.
Bubba was really mad. Now, it didn't start with McDowell wrecking Bubba. It started with Bubba moving Michael McDowell out of the way. That's where this jab for jab started. So Daryl moves Michael out of the way. Michael gathers it up. What looked like to me, it looked like he just kind of started migrating down the track a little bit, right into Bubba's right rear quarter panel, which gentleman's code is kind of like frowned upon, because you don't really want to hook somebody right rear into the fence head on. That's kind of, I don't know, like, which goes to tell, like, that kind of tells me that it wasn't on purpose. So something happened there that had a little bit of a mix up, but destroyed Bubba's day, destroyed his race car. Then Bubba took his wrecked bumper and put it on the back tailgate of the 34. That's an old fashioned short track move. That's like not unprecedented. Like, if that's when you're mad, you take your bent up parts and you put them behind the trailer of the guy who wrecked you. It's just like, hey, thanks. So,
that's what I was going to say. The him moving him out of the way didn't even seem like a big deal. That seemed like normal Bristol racing. Yeah. And I guess, do you feel like McDowell retaliated?
I don't know. I don't know what was going through his head. I would expect more of a retaliation in that instance than I would for a points race, just because there's nothing on the line beyond just trying to qualify for a chance to win $1 million. So if there were to be some event to where you would retaliate further beyond what would be probably acceptable, would be the All-Star Open, just because you're trying to put yourself in position to transfer. So maybe that was the case. And then Bubba's interview, should we pull that audio up? Do you have it, Daryl?
I don't have the audio, but let me see if I can get it. He was really mad, though. And that's when I was like, I even rewound it, because I'm like, I don't think he would just dump you. Did he dump you? It didn't seem like he would want to do that. But I guess he did.
It could go either way. Here, I got it.
Here we go.
Had a very fast race car at the start of this race. Some aggressive moves, working your way up through the field, Bubba. From what we saw on TV, there was contact going into 3. What did it feel like in the car?
Oh, just disrespect. When you get hooked into the wall, my hair looks terrible. Sorry, Mom. When you get hooked right in the wall, it's I don't even need to see a replay. Look at that. Yeah, wow. People say one of the nicest guys in the garage. Can't wait for the God-fearing text that he's going to send me about preaching and praise and respect. What a joke he is. All
right, thanks, Bubba.
Yeah, I wasn't so, that.
So here's the thing also, Corey, that I'm seeing online right now. Apparently the cheers were very loud when Michael dumped Bubba. So I'm sure that probably played into it a little bit, don't you think?
You can't hear the fans inside the car.
Not when he gets out?
Maybe.
They showed the replay and stuff on the big –
Yeah, maybe. Now, I mean, whether the fans are rooting or cheering or booing or whatever, you still got wrecked. What would feel like in the moment, if I was in Bubba's shoes, I would probably feel like it was blatant too. So, those were some pointed words from our friend Daryl Wallace. Another friend of mine, Michael McDowell. I'm not picking a side in the deal. They feel a certain way, and something materialized that I think will probably carry over, because those guys race around each other almost every week. So I don't think that saga's over. So I don't know if Bubba listens to that interview today and might want to choose his words a little bit different. But Lauren, what'd you think when you heard that?
I didn't like that. I felt like that was a little personal. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Amen.
Amen.
But that was an exciting moment anyways. And then it looked like I like these short tracks because it looks like a lot of other people get a chance to kind of shine. And you ran really good, Corey. You had a good run at it. And even up until the end, man, people were racing really hard to get into the All-Star. So that was fun to watch.
I went back and looked at the heart rate data, and it was consistently higher throughout the course of that race than it would be any other race, just because the intensity from the start to the finish, you know that you got to give it your all. And the track was dirty. The PJ1 wasn't activated yet for the All-Star Open, so you were elbows up the entire time. Guys were bouncing off each other, and it was from my seat, the intensity was infinitely more than what it was for Charlotte in previous years. So I think that NASCAR hit a home run with moving the All-Star race to Bristol. I don't think the All-Star race in particular delivered as quite as good as we expected. Austin Chase from the same place. He ended up being the class of the field, winning, 3 out of the 4 stages. But I wanted to get your opinion because I shifted my thinking a little bit on the numbers as well as the neon lights. But I want to hear what you guys had to thought when you guys first saw it. What you guys thought?
Yeah, Lauren. The numbers for me, I like the number switch just because I think anytime you're trying to change stuff up, it's for us that have been in the sport since forever. It's a nice change when they're trying different things. So I personally liked it, and it looked good on TV. I don't know. What did you think, Lauren?
I don't think the numbers were really – it didn't seem like that big of a difference to me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't really think it was that big of a difference.
So I was on the side of I didn't like the numbers being moved at first with the renderings and some of this and some of that. Felt like it was taking away a little history. But a lot of the teams did really good with like making the number and the scheme flow really well.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite ones were like Kurt Busch's car. That one Monster Energy car looked really cool. Kyle Busch's car looked cool. Even Chase Elliott's car. So like teams that actually put some thought into making the scheme incorporated like around moving the number back. Those were, I think some of them knocked it out of the park. But I didn't change my stance on the neon lights. Wasn't a fan of those.
It was very underwhelming.
It was very underwhelming. People thought that they were going to get the neon lights like Kurt Busch had during the donuts at Ganassi or in Nashville for that little deal. Remember that?
Oh yeah, at the burnouts on the boulevard or burnouts in Nashville.
Can you stop humming, please?
I'm not humming.
You are. You're humming.
Oh, shame on you, Daryl. She's just trying to soothe her
I
child.
didn't know if it was my computer. I'm sorry, Kelly. I didn't know if it was my computer.
Entertain.
Well, because she's perfect pitch, so it sounded like the same note every time.
It is.
Yeah.
Does the baby like that? Make Corey do it. I want to hear Corey hum.
Mm.
I'm not humming. I'm just sticking my tongue out, making a noise. I have to entertain our kid.
Okay.
So it's not very convenient for you to sit right there.
Wait, why are you in the
You
milk
need
room?
to leave, Corey.
Yeah.
This is our plate. I mean, our town has very big, so we have to stick our
Yeah.
4-month-old in the living room.
Now I feel like an asshole. I just
You are.
my computer.
All right, no more humming.
Okay, so to recap, I thought the numbers looked good, and like Lauren said, it didn't make that big of a difference to me. And in person, it looked all right.
It did. I thought they looked cool. Some cars didn't look cool. Some cars didn't do a good job of like. It was like they just did the paint scheme and then they just like made the numbers smaller and moved it back and high. But
Okay, so
it can work. It could work.
Well, in Nashville, to go back to the neon, so in Nashville, they did the burnouts down Broadway. It was at night.
Yep.
They had neons in the wheel well area under the entire car. So it literally looked like the car was floating on light and there was smoke from the burnouts. It did look pretty cool. Last night, Bristol was lit up like, daytime.
Yep.
And really you could only see the neon lights from the back. As a racer, let's ask Andrew, fresh from his new haircut. Andrew, did you like the neon lights last night? You're a fan.
A fan.
I thought it was going to be the whole car. I was kind of disappointed that it was just the back. But
I say shut the lights off at the racetrack, race in the dark, and then you only can see.
And just put
the
like
neon.
movie theater lighting along the wall and the
Stairs.
well, yeah, and you're good to go.
So what did you feel about, you've been a longtime fan and collector of NASCAR toys. What did you think about the number being moved?
Didn't really look different to me. I didn't think it looked bad, but didn't look like it was a huge change.
And that's Andrew Gorman.
I think as long as they stay on the door, I'm fine with it. If they go to the rear quarters, I'm gonna.
Yeah, isn't that like what IMSA does?
They V8 supercars, so old ASA cars back in the day did it. There's a reason why that series went belly up, because I think when they moved the numbers from the door to the quarter panels, the series was ultimately bound to fail. So hopefully NASCAR doesn't do that. I think they might be onto something with moving the numbers back. If they would move the NASCAR Cup Series logo to like somewhere else, because then that like kind of is a random sticker right in the middle of the door. So, suggestion for next time, lose the neon lights. If you're going to do it, go to O'Reilly Auto Parts and get the whole roll of neon. Don't just get half the roll and put it behind the rear tires. Get it, put it down the rocker panels, up underneath the hood, make it look good. Don't just do it in the back. You got to make it look correct. If you're not going to do it, don't do it at all. That's my on the neon. What's next? Fuzzy dice? I mean, what's the next thing we're going to put on? Daryl frozen?
I can never tell. Sometimes he just looks like he's still. We're having tough technology issues here.
So I think the All-Star race and All-Star Open at Bristol was a success.
Yep.
I wish that there was a little bit more strategy involved in the All-Star race. Now, Daryl's gone.
He's gone.
So I was riding back. I had some time to think on what I would do for next year if I was in charge, but I'm not.
No.
I would almost go back to a couple of years ago when they gave us the soft tire, hard tire options. And then I would make a tire that was about 3 or 4 tenths faster, but would also give away after 15, 20 laps. I think if they incorporated that, that would be a whole nother element to when you're going to pit, when you're going to stay out, and when you're going to put that one set of sticky tires on. While you were gone, Daryl, I was talking about something I would change and add an element to the All-Star race. I brought up a couple years ago, NASCAR brought that, or Goodyear brought a soft tire option and a hard tire option.
I remember that. Yep.
So I think that it would be more of a factor at a short track. So if they did that, I think that could be a really cool element to the race where each team gets one set of sticky tires and you could start on them or you can put them on last, however you wanted to do it.
Okay.
But you get 4 sticky tires and then you get your hard tires. So you can run the risk of running them too long and blowing them out, or you can put them on early in the race and try to keep track position. I think there's lots of different things that NASCAR could do with a set of sticky tires at a short track, because sticky tires at an intermediate track really aren't that much of a difference. They are, but they're not as much as they would be at Bristol. So maybe they could look at that for next year. That would be my only recommendation or only tweak to the All-Star race, because I think we've got something good for years to come there.
Do we think they're going to keep it at Bristol next year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because if they can make that another midweek show and have fans show up, like full capacity, it could be.
Oh.
Daryl's having technical difficulties, but I think it could be free. I think it could be awesome.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, I don't foresee it going back to Charlotte. It can move. It can move somewhere else, but I don't see it going back to Charlotte anytime soon. I think Bristol's just the perfect spot for it.
Yeah.
Give us some sticky tires, one set of sticky tires, and then everybody's going to be. That's when you're going to see a lot of comers and goers. What else we got?
Well, with the lights, Corey, I like the idea of using the lights for playoffs or for like a lap down. You can show the drivers that are a lap down can be a different color than the drivers that are on the lead lap. I think that would be really interesting for night races.
It would. I think there's only one night race in the playoffs, though, so it would be cool to do something like that. But I don't think we run a night enough in the playoffs to really make it a big hitter.
Was it distracting driving, seeing the lights glow?
Well, they didn't have them in the All-Star Open, so.
Oh yeah, sorry, you weren't in that. My bad. Yeah,
my car had them. If we'd have by chance the planets would have lined up and we'd have made it into the All-Star race. All I needed, I was just somebody wrecking Clint Boyer away from being the next guy in line for the fan vote.
Yeah, I know. That's what we were hoping.
With Bubba getting in that incident, with Matt winning a stage, Will Byron winning a stage, and Eric Amarola, he was behind me in fan voting. But the only person left in front of me in the preliminary fan voting was Clint. So I almost somebody would have ended his day, but wasn't meant to be.
You know who I blame for that?
No.
Lauren. She didn't vote. You didn't vote, did you? I know you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You didn't vote enough.
I got on every day and did it.
Okay.
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 I mean, her sister even did it. Ellie even
Ellie should have told her TikTok audience that we got to vote for Corey.
Yeah, next year.
So, Jeff Gluck's doing this poll right now, and he said it was All-Star a good race. It is literally 15,000 votes in, and it is at 52% yes, 48% no. That surprises me.
Really? That does surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't please anybody anymore.
Yeah,
especially
with winning.
What do they want? I don't know. Like, now there wasn't a lot of passing because the track, in a lot of drivers' opinion, wasn't prepped great because the PJ1 is so dominant on the bottom groove that you give up so much time trying to work the top end to lay rubber that you can't risk going up there and losing track position just to work the top lane in. So the top lane wasn't even equal until about the last stage in the All-Star race. So, I wish that, maybe they sprayed the PJ1 a little bit later and maybe drug the tires around the top lane to give it some sort of a base for grip. But, like I said, I think people were expecting some sort of great Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte finish, right? Somebody spins out coming to the line, which that might happen next year. Sometimes races just play out not how you would expect them to play out. There wasn't a whole lot of passing for the lead beyond just Ryan Blaney. And I still don't think that warrants it as a bad All-Star race. Would people really want an All-Star race to be back at Charlotte for a 1.5-mile race with 8-inch spoilers on the back of these cars? No. So be careful. Be careful what you wish for, fan base. That's all I got to say.
Corey, what you not being on Twitter, another thing you didn't see yesterday, this is what was trending.
NASCAR hosts largest crowd of any sport since COVID-19 pandemic begins.
But look at the picture they use. They got Dale Sr.
Oh.
Dale Earnhardt. What's wrong with that?
Out of all the pictures that they have available, they're promoting Dale Earnhardt for the All-Star race, which was pretty.
Hell yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. But it was just so funny. A lot of people were tweeting like, what year is this?
2000 looks like.
What's that?
Looks like 2000.
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? Like that's just an interesting stock image that they picked.
What that is an odd image, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure what will come about of. Hopefully, like there's no spread of this virus, and we can continue to add more and more fans each and every week. That's the ultimate goal because we want to get back to full capacity before long. And I know NASCAR wants to get back to full capacity for moving that season finale to Phoenix. I mean, they just built that state-of-the-art infield facility as well as added on all those stands, and they're not going to have anybody in them right now. So hopefully they can get city and state ordinances to where they can get a full capacity at least by November. You'd hate to think we couldn't.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get there. There's some exciting announcements coming out in the vaccine world, so hopefully we will be getting closer to some good news, you know?
Yeah.
What? Oh, look, the baby's awake.
Yeah.
The baby. Say hi. Or just waking up.
She's just half awake. Well, so it was a good experience, though, but then you had to drive back through the mountains on your own. I wish you would have made it in.
I wish I would have made it in too. That'd been really cool. But there's also a reason why the 18 fastest cars are in the All-Star race and the 20 slower cars are not in the All-Star race because they can't run with them. So, even if I would have transferred, I don't know if I'd have been making a run for the win by no means, but it still would have been cool to line up. But like Lauren said, there's always next year. And we got a good notebook. We had a good little practice session for the night race. We go back to Bristol here next month. So should be better when we go back for 500 laps.
Corey, the internet seems to think you already know your plans for next year. Do you know your plans for next year?
Not a clue. I legitimately have no clue. So I don't know why they think that. A lot of stuff, a lot of moving, shaking, dominoes still waiting to fall. The big guys have to either resign, leave, or there's partners on my end I'm trying to get back on board to possibly shop. So that's where we're at.
The Lord is coming back. We won't even be here next year.
That happens. I'm good with that. Come on, just take me.
They're frozen.
Well, that's a pretty wild adventure, guys.
That was. I think that's all we have to talk about.
You're having bad luck today.
Yeah, technology is bad today. The person with the worst Wi-Fi in the group, which is me, has not dropped the call today. So I'm kind of happy about it.
Well, we want to thank O'Reilly,
yeah,
of course. And I want to remind everybody, for those of you that are just tuning in at the end here, maybe you just walked in the living room and your favorite person is listening. We got to tell you about O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hold on. Please hold. I thought I had it right here. Dang it. All this is about Tony Stewart.
Oh, yeah, Daryl. Speaking of Tony Stewart, we were going to bring up some facts that you may or may not have heard on the Superstar. Allegedly, what have you heard allegedly?
Allegedly, the name that keeps coming up that is committed to this project already is Carl Edwards. Some people inside the sport have said Carl is on board and excited about it, and he is one of the big names that keeps coming up in the meetings because right now CBS has committed to this project, and so obviously you don't go to the network and say, we have this idea to race and it's going to be really cool, but we don't have any drivers. You have to have superstars in your superstar series, just like you have to have dinosaurs at your dinosaur park if you're going to open a dinosaur park. So apparently Carl Edwards is one of the names that has been coming up in these meetings over and over again, and that is very exciting. I love Carl Edwards.
A lot of people love Carl Edwards. He is a hell of a wheelman too. What do you think it would take to get Danica Patrick into the superstar racing experience?
Oh boy. I don't know. I think she would be into the idea of getting a chance to really show what she can do. So I think that's appealing to any athlete that finished below what they expected, right?
Yeah.
It's another at bat to say, she has a chance to show her stuff, and I think she'd be interested in it.
But on the other hand, I don't know if she's driven a race car in the last 3 years too. So she might, in the essence of being a little bit rusty, she might not want to line them up against Carl Edwards or Tony Stewart or those guys. I'm not sure who else is in this, but maybe, I don't know. I think it would be cool to see Danica come back for that, though. For sure, personally, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I have not heard Danica, but Carl Edwards is one name that has because everybody in the industry has been asking each other about it. Like, oh, have you heard about this? People know Ray, people know Tony, and obviously they're being pretty tight-lipped, but they are taking meetings because they're trying to line everything else up from, all the moving parts. And yeah, Carl Edwards' name keeps coming up from the people I've talked to, so I'm excited. I hope that is true, although we will say today that's allegedly.
Well, there's smoke, there's fire. We'll stay up on that information. We'll let you know more as we hear. We go to Texas this week. Texas? Yeah, Texas this weekend. That's it, Lauren.
Yeah, whoa. Sorry, Lauren, what?
Said it's going to be 200 degrees in Texas.
It's going to be hot.
But Texas is run by somebody named
Eddie Gossage.
Eddie Gossage.
And Eddie Gossage is in the news right now because
so tell me what he said.
Eddie Gossage said, and I quote, I love every time we do this because Alexa's always like, oh my God, what are they about to say? What are they about to say? What are they about to release? Eddie Gossage said, in response to somebody being critical of the lights and the numbers, somebody in the stand said, I couldn't see good. The lights were blah. The numbers were hard to see, blah, 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 blah. Keep the sponsors the same. It's hard enough to keep up who's who week to week. Well, no, it's not. But Eddie Gossage from Texas said, I've proposed to NASCAR the teams have the same paint schemes all year long. Only the sponsors change. You wouldn't change the Yankees pinstripes for any sponsor. We knew Richard Petty, number 43, and Dale Earnhardt's number 3, and I've urged them to go back to that.
Boo! Bad take.
That is, that's, I guess you could say the New York pinstripes, quote unquote, is the team's brand. The team's brand is the number at the end of the day. It's not the color of the car. Now, is the black 3 and the Petty blue 43 the most well-known race cars because they did stay the same all year? Probably so, but
those were very different times.
Yeah, and that was also when sponsors or teams could give a company like Goodrich the return for the entire 36 race season off their sponsorship. Now, the cost of competition is so dang high that you have to have a different sponsor almost every single week just to pay the bills. So when you got a company, let's just say the 42 car with Matt Kenseth right now has Credit One, Clover, McDonald's. You expect Chip Ganassi to make the 42 paint scheme the same when you go from a Credit One? It doesn't seem very practical to me. But that's
no.
Do what?
Poppy said no. Hell no.
No, that's Eddie's take. Eddie's he's made Texas into one of the more premier tracks in the schedule. So he knows what he's talking about. I think in this particular instance, and you also can't judge somebody off of just their text or tweet. They might have worded something different. They wanted it to word it or whatever. But nobody knows. I would argue that Eddie Gossage is one of the most smarter guys when it comes to branding in the sport. So I think if he could elaborate on his point, I think he probably could get to something that would make people sway their opinion. But generally speaking, would I love to have the cars the same all year long, same number, same scheme, have T-shirts matched and the whole bit? Yeah, I would love that. But that's not the NASCAR that we're living in right now.
Well, Matt DiBenedetto responded and said, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt and say your account got hacked. And Eddie responded and said, Matty D, you are exhibit number 1. You drive that beautiful red, white, and gold number 21. Iconic. And now you and everybody else on this board is thinking, that's the point. Don't accept convention. I'm an old school kind of guy, but can it be better? Well, I think the whole deal is Ryan Newman drove the Alltel car for a whole season, as did Jimmy, but they had full-time sponsorship the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not practical anymore. You just can't put Quick Lube or whatever whatever sponsors on that what they run with that red and white scheme.
Yeah.
21 car. I don't know. I get what he's saying, but when it costs $25 to $30 million a year to run a competitive cup program, you can't expect the same. You can't expect Ally, or you can't expect Menards or Shell Pennzoil to fork out all of that and expect an adequate return. So you're going to have different companies needing to fill the schedule. So that's, yes. Would it be cool to run the red, white, and gold 21 car with gold foil numbers on it every week just because it's historically awesome? Yes, but it's not practical with the when you got to start selling them to different companies. So, I mean, that's just I get his train of thinking, but as expensive as a sport is, it's not doable right now.
Well, we want to think of O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car needs. That's right. You need to think of O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car needs, Corey. We're close, convenient, and known for our guarantee everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. So stop by your O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices. Poppy, are you listening? Every day.
Every day.
So I'm gonna do a shameless plug here since I'm sitting in the other room that I usually don't sit in. We got some face masks made, Daryl.
Let's see it.
Oh.
Oh, you look like Red Dead 2.
I don't know what that is.
It's a video game.
And so we got those little face mask things with the S on it.
Uh-huh.
Got your camo hat, Daryl.
I'll wear that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. What else we got? Some Stacking Penny stickers. Have you seen those? I'll get you one of those.
I'm going to put that on my big wheel.
Good. Anybody who wants any Core of the Joy merch, coreofthejoyracing.com/merch. Oh, yeah, look at this.
Oh, no.
Is that a Trump shirt? Oh, I thought I was going to say Trump LaJoy. I was excited.
Stay back.
I don't think I'll be able to do that.
Wait, so explain that shirt for people that don't know.
So it's a red, it looks like the Reagan Bush 84 shirt. Says LaJoy Sparks, which Ryan Sparks is my crew chief. And it's election year. I figured we would just make a cool election shirt. So if you want to vote in or buy a t-shirt and support LaJoy Sparks, you can do it on coreofthejoyracing.com/merch.
Boom. Let's get our shirts.
Yeah.
But Corey, I would wear a shirt, a black shirt with that sticker as like the chest.
I got it right here.
But like big. Let's see. Yeah, no, I want it like Superman.
Then it says Stacking Pennies on the back.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good luck to you, man. I hope things work out for you.
I hope so too, because I got formula, I got baby shit to pay for. He rifles through diapers like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, Lauren's the in-house expert. Lauren, what's your take on the cloth diapers that you put in the wash machine?
That's way too much work.
And the chances of you getting poop on your hands are way higher.
Yeah, not even that, but I do not have time for that shit.
Literally. Ain't nobody
All
got.
right.
What about a clutch coffee clutch?
We don't have to do that.
Clutch. I know that, but I want to do it because I like doing it.
Oh, okay.
I like doing it, so we're gonna do it.
You guys are completely ruining my opportunity to go to Jersey Mike's and get myself a sandwich before my 1 p.m. meeting.
What's your order?
A sub and a tub because I'm trying to get skinny.
A sub in a tub. That sounds horrible.
It's good. Clutch Performer of the Week. Michael McDowell. I don't know.
Michael McDowell.
Just kidding. I love you, Bubba.
We can't just give it outright to Shade.
He doesn't need our accolades. He has $1 million.
How about the clutch performers, plural, of the week are all the fans that showed up to Bristol.
That's right.
So we're going to give every single person that was at Bristol Motor Speedway last night, we are going to give you the Clutch Performer of the Week award.
That's right.
Tune
Our
in.
loyal listener, Andrew Higginbotham, was there last night.
He works for NASCAR now, so congrats on that gig. You guys are co-workers. Welcome,
are.
Andrew. NASCAR, MRN, ISC family, radio electronics. They own like literally everything now.
They own everything.
Yep.
I
They
love
own this
it.
podcast.
Yep.
All right. Well, that sounds good. 2 episodes this week, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you guys for clearing off your busy schedule.
You're
About y'all.
welcome. Anything
great
for
one.
you, Corey.